Hi everybody, my name is Liliana and the poem I picked for my project is Bilingual, Bilingue. I am bilingual myself and I'm a Spanish literature major. The reason I picked this poem is because I have been in a Hispanic household my entire life. I am actually a Cuban Colombian in a Mexican household. So there's a little bit of cultural tension there here and there. Um, but I feel like I can mainly relate to the author and the fact that my entire life I've had to translate for my parents. So I really like the poem because I believe that the author was really trying to speak to her dad through the stanzas. As you notice in the stanzas, the author writes in English but adds a Spanish word in there, almost as if she wanted her father to read it and understand it because there's a word in Spanish and kind of put two and two together. So I do believe that was a very important part of the poem. I can relate as far as the closed mindedness of the father. I feel like I've had to deal with a lot of machista issues my entire life with my father. He isn't a bad guy or anything, but he is always right. I think that's the thing with Hispanic men. They always have to be right. Everything has to go their way, and no matter what, you're wrong and they're right. So that's one way I can relate. And I was actually born and raised here in Texas. I spent 2 years when I was a baby in Mexico, right when I was born. My entire family, my adopted family, is Mexican. So I've always had to speak Spanish. My parents really only speak Spanish. They speak very, very little English if they absolutely need to. So I grew up with Spanglish as well because I had cousins that were Chicano like. I grew up with some words that were Spanglish that drove me off the wall, like hold this for me. It could be um, aguanta esto. That's what I use for it. But I had cousins that go like holdeamelo, and I'm like that's Spanglish, or estacionar, and my cousins would be like parquealo, and I'm like that's not a word. So I grew up with a lot of Spanglish as well, but as a Spanish literature major, I really emphasize on proper grammar in Spanish as well as in English. Um, but I really enjoyed this poem for the fact that it kind of touched base with both the Hispanic and the American cultures. I think it's very important to kind of um, kind of blend everything together and integrate. So I like what she did there. However, I also think that the author was a little bit scared, and I can relate to that. They were exiled from the Dominican Republic, kind of like I was married to a Puerto Rican man, and we was half Puerto Rican, but it didn't end well. So it's kind of like the same thing. I feel like she couldn't trust the Hispanic or the Spanish side of her. So that's another way I can relate. I'm kind of um, skeptical about Hispanic men. So there's a lot of points where I really liked in the poem, especially the where she mentions alien, because whenever she says alien, I think about my dad's permanent resident card that says alien, which I thought was always funny when I was younger because I thought they were calling my dad like a Martian, you know. So I always thought that was pretty funny. So I'm gonna read the poem now. My father liked them separate, one there, one here, allá y aquí, as if aware that words might cut into his daughter's heart, el corazón, and lock the alien part. Alien. To what he was, his memory, his name, su nombre, with a key he could not claim. English outside the store, Spanish inside, he said. Y basta. But who can divide the world, the word, mundo y palabra, from any child? I knew how to be dumb and stubborn, testaruda. Late in bed, I hoarded the secret syllables I read, until my tongue, mi lengua, learned to run where his stumbled. And still the heart was one. I like to think he knew that, even when proud, orgulloso, of his daughter's pen, he stood outside mis versos, half in fear of words he loved but wanted not to hear. In the end, she actually married an American man, and I think that at the end, that's why she didn't write it in English first and then translate. I think that she left him the last word in Spanish just for him. So I really enjoyed the way she wrote that. I think if I would write a poem, I would write it the same way and kind of leave a message in the end, especially if it was for somebody important in my family, such as my father. So my mom totally kind of doesn't speak Spanish, so we're going to sneak up on her, and I'm going to randomly just ask her a question in English. We'll see how that goes. Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Me asustaste, mijita. ¿Querías asustarme?
No.
Pues es que me asustó. A ver. I ain't washed the dishes. The dinner is ¿cómo se dice? The dinner is
Complete.
Is
Done.
Complete. Is done.
It's done. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. That's my mom.
I need to practice English with you. Okay?
Thank you, Mom. That's what happens when you catch my mom off guard. But she's learning. She's learning English, and there kind of is a language barrier when I bring some of my friends over. Usually, my friends will be like, "Hi, how are you?" and my mom will be like, "Here's some food." I guess it's just the culture. So, like any working Hispanic father, they usually come home, they eat, and they go sit in their lazy boy and watch TV. So we're gonna go surprise my dad now. Papa! How are you?
Fine.
What are you doing?
Watching TV.
Watching TV?
Yeah,
What are you watching?
Chavo del Ocho.
The what?
Chavo del Ocho.
How do you like it?
Like the Chavo del Ocho.
Is it good? You like it?
Tómale pila.
So overall, this poem was my favorite because I've lived a bilingual life, and I believe that for the rest of my life, I'm gonna live a very bilingual life, whether it be English, Spanish. I also speak Tagalog. I speak a little bit of Arabic, and I write it. I can read Braille, and I can understand some French and some Italian. I can curse in German, but I probably shouldn't. But overall, this poem was my favorite, and thanks for watching.